Welcome back to Vermont. It's the middle of September and Charles has a lot of projects on his list. What he's working on now is finishing up the drawers in the kitchen and finally installing the kitchen countertop that we bought back in April from a local woodworking shop.
I am in the process of gluing up all the drawers I cut out the other day. Getting them ready to install. It went nearly perfectly. All my dado joints and everything were right on, and they just went right together. Now that the drawers are all glued up, it's time to put the drawer slides on them and get them installed in the cabinet. I got the first drawer in, and the drawer slides are not as difficult as I was making them out to be. Works great. And I'll put the next one on. So I thought the drawer glides were going to be more difficult than they were, because I thought that they would probably have to be absolutely perfectly spaced. But these drawer glides actually have a tab on them in the front and back that allow you to kind of adjust them a little bit. So the spacing between the drawers, I put 4 pieces of plywood, 1/2 inch plywood, which give me 2-inch spacing between the actual drawers themselves. And so the drawer fronts will overlap the cabinets a little bit, and I needed a 2-inch spacing for the cabinet facing between each of the drawers. So that's how I came up with the 2-inch spacing. I got 3 drawers in, but I ran out of screws. And not even my boneyard has enough screws to finish, so I have to go to the hardware store. Full extension drawers.
Well, one of the best things about building your own home is that you can build it around your own actual lifestyle and your own belongings. And one of the hardest things about that is that there are so many decisions to make. So before there can be a kitchen, we need to have a vision of what it's going to look like, and fortunately we are on the same page and we each independently prefer drawers to cabinets. So down below where we have the option of putting drawers, we're going to put lots of them. The only part under the counter that will have a cabinet is under the sink and beside the sink next to the wall.
Most vanities don't have drawers. Most vanities have doors and you just put your stuff in under the sink. But that makes a lot of wasted space in there. So Jill and I both like the idea of having drawers in here, but with the plumbing and everything, the drawers kind of have to be modified in order to make them work. And this bottom drawer was an inch shorter in my original design, and we decided it needed to be an inch taller, which interfered with the P-trap and the valves in the back. So I fixed that problem by cutting out. This is where the P-trap comes through, and the water valves in the back clear with these. And then the upper two drawers I made with a cutout that goes around the P-trap, around the drain. And then there's two compartments that can go up on either side of the drain and not interfere with anything. And then at the top one, there's actually, I made them, they're a little close to the sink. So I ended up having to do a little modification here too, with a cutout for the bottom of the sink here. And then this actually slightly scraped beside the sink. So I just put a bevel on it to make it clear. But that makes for a lot more usable space under a vanity.
Well, today is an exciting day. We're finally putting up the beautiful butcher block countertop that we picked up from a local woodworking shop back in April. If you watched us bring it home, you probably remember that it's too heavy for me to pick it up. So we asked our neighbor Graham for help.
Beautiful. The sink has to go in this countertop, so there has to be a hole that's cut in here. And that's what I'm trying to figure out, where it needs to go. About how to mount this sink. It's got special little clips that have to be made to work one way or another. This side is not going to be so easy.
So Charles got out the jigsaw to carve a few more chunks out of the countertop.
Alright, after replacing our 2-stage filter with a 3-stage and adding the neutralizing calcite filter, I'm checking the pH. It's been running through that filter now for a few days. This is rainwater directly from the cisterns. So we're at 5.8 directly out of the tanks. So now I've got some water just put in here out of the faucet. There's 7.1, which is perfect.
Hopefully that means no more blue bathtub. Finally, before putting in the kitchen sink, Charles had to finish the countertop and secure it in place. And with all the rain we've been having, it took a while for the counter to dry between coats. But finally, after 3 rounds of finishing and sanding, it was looking pretty awesome. say about gluing, Charles?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.